The Tomorrow War. I would love to say that it was an interesting movie, but that would be a lie. Alright, so if you don't know, The Tomorrow War is a movie about Chris Pratt playing the role of Ben, I think. Dan? I don't even remember his name. The characters aren't really all that relevant to me. But it's a movie about Chris Pratt's character going into the future, along with a whole bunch of other civilians, like normal, untrained civilians, going into the future to fight off aliens. I think that the entire premise is pretty cool. I think it's like a little slightly fresh. It's like The Terminator, but in reverse. It's got this really cool opening scene. It has a really cool final battle. And that's it. That's everything that's cool about the movie. The dialogue is really off sometimes, like as if it wasn't really written by humans, as if it really were written by aliens. It doesn't sound like things that people would actually say. It just feels weird. It feels off. The exposition feels sometimes either too telling or too forced. But that doesn't make it the worst movie ever. This movie has a lot of okay humor. Like, it'll make you laugh, but none of the jokes are really memorable. And it has some pretty okay action. That's pretty. That could be considered cool to some people. Some people could actually really like the action. I actually did like the action, a lot of it. It wasn't perfect, but it was pretty cool. There were some impactful scenes, very emotional scenes going towards the middle and the end of the movie. Not too much anywhere else. Realistically, the movie only really works because Chris Pratt is its lead. Chris Pratt plays a character named Dan in this movie. He's like this brooding scientist with a family, and it's really off because in every other Chris Pratt role, he's always the funny guy. He's always smirking. He's always making these wise jokes. He's funny. He's a good actor, but he's more of like a comedian type actor. In this movie, he had to calm himself. He had to be serious, and it felt like because he had to be serious the entire time, he just didn't know what to do with his face like 80% of the time. So he was just kind of like just staring at everyone with a serious glare, but he can't help but make a smirk sometimes because he's just like supposed to be like a family man. So he's gonna be like happy all the time, but serious, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work having Chris Pratt playing this role, even though he carried this movie. That he was literally the only good thing about this movie. He still was terrible in this movie. J.K. Simmons is also in this movie, and yet again he is playing the terrible father figure who simply just abandons their son. And even though this is the role he was made for, he feels like wasted potential too. Like, again, like, this is a great actor here, but they wasted him. Like, the dialogue that he had just wasn't good. There was no real good moments. Like, it felt like the entire thing was a redemption arc for him, but I didn't really feel what he had. Like, I understood what he had. He's like a deadbeat, so I get that he needs to be redeemed, but like, there wasn't anything else there. It's like I was just told that he was a deadbeat, but I didn't see him ever be a terrible father in all reality, because he only has like some dialogue scenes and like that's it. Sam Richardson was funny. Like, he was legitimately funny, but there really isn't a single memorable line from him in this movie. Like, so there's literally nothing to really say about this character either. I just really couldn't connect to a single character. It felt like everyone was just wasted potential. But like, the only thing I could really connect with was what they were talking about sometimes with the themes, maybe. The themes seemed pretty cool because it was basically about whether or not we should strive to become great, when in all reality we're all just going to die in the future. Nothing really matters. It has that does anything really matter attitude towards, and it has an entire argument. But eventually the argument just gets lost throughout the movie. It doesn't ever feel like they really tried to actually make the theme, progress naturally. Kind of just like they just shoehorned into it at the end. Like, it feels like they never had that in any of their drafts until like the final draft. They just shoehorned that in there, and they're like, oh, we need to talk about this theme, and it never felt. I never cared about it. I just never cared about it once. Once I got to the last hour of the movie, I just sat there just wondering when it was going to be over. It is such a long movie for no reason. It feels like it just dragged, and by the end, it felt like they had to force the entire conflict to happen, because there's a scene where they specifically talk about like, oh, hey guys, should we go back and just tell the UN what we found or whatever? We should tell the entire world exactly what we found here so they can bring back everyone to stop this. But then they're just like, nah, it's too much trouble. No, we shouldn't go and go and tell anyone. The UN, they're just gonna end up talking about it forever. And it just feels like such a weak reason for why they decided to do it themselves. It just felt so forced, and it didn't make any sense. But I guess I don't mind it too much, because I actually really do like the ending fight. They fight against like a last mother female alien monster thing, and I honestly do like how the fight progresses. I thought it was really exciting. I thought it was really cool. So I do want to say that, even though like everything before it felt so forced and unnecessary, I did at least like the ending. I thought the ending was pretty cool in some way. I thought it was satisfying, because, you know, it seemed like it was going to be one of those movies where like it turned out to be like left to our own interpretations, but they did kind of like wrap everything up in a satisfying way with a nice little bow. So I will give them that. All in all, I'd have to give this movie a 1.5 in all honesty, just because the characters aren't really there, the plot isn't there, like the time travel doesn't make much sense. It just isn't a good movie. It's very empty, it's very forgettable. It's not a movie that anyone would really find memorable. So far during this channel's lifespan, I haven't rated anything that low, but this movie truly just deserves that rating. But I'd say that if you're really bored and you just want to watch something with some cool action or some funny jokes, then I guess you could watch it if you're just looking for something new. But if you don't feel like wasting 2.5 hours of your time on something that's barely even mediocre, then I'd say just watch something else. If you found this video informative, then please consider giving me a like. Also consider subscribing so you can see more content like this. And if you have a different opinion of mine, or you do share my same opinion, then please go down in the comments below, tell me about it. Let's have a discussion down there. And yeah, that's it. See ya.